It's that heartbeat moment.
Just said we're live. Yeah.
Hello, world.
Oh, yep. See,
Yeah, I was just getting
live.
ready to do that to mine too. Was put it on very, very silent and let it just go.
All right.
Did it come on you? Did you get a YouTube one or was that Facebook?
I don't even know.
I don't know either. We've done a lot of
That
lives.
was Facebook. That was Facebook.
Right.
I'm going to have to check my notifications, guys. I get them sometimes, but not all the time.
Somebody's on, I don't know. Unless that's one of you. Would that happen sometimes too when we first start?
It's not me yet. I gotta find my way over there. I didn't even get a notification online yet, or I mean, on YouTube yet.
Oh, I got to get on my husband's phone and silence it. He's got it. He got the notification.
Okay.
So it is out. Okay, so the notification's on. Hello, Shelby. Shelby's on. She's excited for this conversation.
Hey, girl.
So
what's going on here?
Oh, there's 7 now all of a sudden. Hi, everybody. Huh?
You guys can still see me? Okay.
I can see you, yeah.
All right, because it was like all froze up over here. But it's good now. Hey, guys. Hi, Shelby.
So if anybody new is viewing, in the description box on the YouTube one is both a link to Rachele's channel and to RavensClaw's channel, because they both have channels and we co-host a lot. So make sure you guys go check out their channels. And today's chat is all about the goddess and how we are lacking her as a society, and we need her to balance out with the god, because we definitely need both.
Yes.
Most definitely.
For some reason, this just does not want to live chat. Let's see if that works.
Is your live chat not working? Because mine is. I see more people. If everybody would just say hello so we know you're here, that would be awesome.
Okay, are you guys only seeing Shelby saying hello?
Yeah. I know, she's crazy, isn't she?
That's cute. Okay, I'm just making sure. Yeah, it's the actual video that's not showing up yet. Oh, that's right, because she's from Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know who's on, but I know several people are on, because I can see that people are viewing, but I can't see who it is. And perhaps when we shared it as House of Sage and Lavender says hello, and Aaliyah Bryant. So there they go. They just popped up. So there's a delay, everybody. Excuse. It's a delay. Well, hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Again, I will just reiterate, we're going to talk about the goddess and how she balances things out when you work with her and the god, and the need for her in society. So anybody can start.
Well, I mean, I really just wanted to talk about the goddess. First of all, I don't know tons of information about the different goddesses, but I do believe in a female and male principle, and that they have to work in conjunction and balance in order for things, like enlightenment and stuff like that. That's also what I'm wearing here, is like the symbol of the Merkaba, which is the two polarities coming together to make the whole. But in order to talk about that, in order to bring about that kind of balance, people have to really see how imbalanced, how off balance we are. And so I had come up with some different things, like how many attorneys are in the United States right now, like percentages of female to male information, like guards and the armed forces and in Congress and all that. And once people actually see that, they'll see how staggering the numbers really are, to see how out of balance we are. So
I mean, even without the numbers, I can tell how out of balance things are. Even, and we're in America, we are, but RavensClaw is in Ireland, and so I don't know about Ireland, but here in America, women aren't paid nearly as much as men. Women get passed over for men in a lot of jobs, and the home lives. I think that a lot of it has to do, like with divorce rates and things like that, because they're missing something, and I believe that has to do with the god and goddess not working together. Hi Ada, hi Robin, hello Raven. So. I think this is a very important topic, and I think all the things that you're bringing up are very important facts, as well as just knowing.
So just to bring up a little bit of those figures for people, just to see, because it's easy to argue if you don't have the numbers in front of you. Say, oh, that's not true, blah, 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 blah. So this is what's that?
I said receipts.
Exactly.
Yes.
Paper trail for everything, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So in 2019, this is what we're looking at. The entry. This is entry into jobs. 48% go to women, 52 to men. That's not too bad, right? That's not that off. But then you go into going up into management. It's 62% that are men that carry those positions, and 38% are women. Then you go into senior management, and it continues to drop down a little bit. 34% is women, 62% is men. VP, vice president, 30% women. Then you go to senior vice president, 26. And then you go to, I'm guessing that has something to do with like, the top, like your CFOs, CEOs, and they're just putting it all into one big area, and that's 21%. But when I did a search earlier, when I was talking with RavensClaw, it was, what was it, like 6%?
Yeah, it was very low.
Of women that were CEOs in the United States in comparison. 6%. How can anyone say that that's equal?
It's not. And this isn't, and these do make it sound like we're just talking equal rights for women. We're not. We're talking about, because it is such a male dominated society, especially because of mainstream religions where there's only one male deity and they leave out the female. And on top of that, so much stuff in their religion dictates to women that they are to be subservient and pretty much be at home and in the kitchen and things of that nature. It is very difficult for women to get an equal footing because we're lacking the goddess. I mean, I believe that.
Both spiritually, like in those spiritual communities, and like you're talking everyday life, both energies definitely need to be balanced with both.
Yes.
Excuse me. Hi, long hair, skinny eyed toe, coastal, and hello, Cindy. Hello, everybody. He says, do those numbers take into consideration the amount of time that those men put in to achieve this position? Does it take into consideration the different choices women make? Well, I don't know specifically about those numbers, but Rachele might.
I don't know specifically about all the little details, but as a woman, I do know. And after talking with tons of my girlfriends over the years, that the male counterpart always has gotten promoted more readily because the male didn't have to take off time to have a child, didn't have to take off time to go pick up the child from said school, to the dentist office, to doctor's appointments, stay at home when the child is sick. That has society-wise always been something that, and I'm not saying in all situations, but I'm saying in the majority of situations that has always fallen onto the woman, because the man has always been considered the head of the household or the one who is the breadwinner, right?
Interesting about the head of household. So like, even if the woman is working and the man stays at home, he's still considered head of household, even if he has no income. I mean, Just saying. And on top of that, I just want to point this out. I know a female who has 2 freaking college degrees, has worked extremely hard, does as good a job as her man or the male counterparts, and still makes less money than him. And she's passed over more frequently than the men are to move up the ladder. Now, she has moved up the ladder, but it's not as readily available for her as it is for a man who does not even have a college degree.
Yeah.
I've experienced, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I experienced that. I'm ex-Christian, specifically ex-NIFB, and now that I'm a witch, Wicca, I have a balance of divine feminine and divine masculine. How has that changed for you, Layla? Did I say that right? Leah?
Which we all, to a point, have both energies within us. We just do need to balance the energy amongst others as well, our counterparts, and so on.
Mm.
Well, wait till you see some of these other figures. Okay.
Yes.
Women in Orthodox Jewish religious leaders. Indeed, the Rabbinical Council of America has just passed a resolution forbidding women from being ordained or serving in some capacity as a rabbi, right? I'm not going to go in any further. You guys can do your research on that. I'm just bringing up short amounts of information.
Right.
So even monks and Buddhism, I would think as an outsider that would be something that's more, female, male friendly, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. They say that they are not biased too, it's a spiritual path. However, women can only be monks if they are introduced by other women, which are few and far between. So according to this story, and I have not checked the references and all that, that's for people to go on further and check. But to be honest with you, I haven't seen a whole lot of women monks ever depicted. So according to this story, this woman went outside of where you normally would get these things and created her own temple and then started ordaining women herself and then went back to that area in order for it to be pretty much legit. Right?
Coastal says, although again, though, it comes down to choices, hours put in, and other factors. It sounds like these figures imply women just want everything without having to earn it. I'm not really sure how you are grasping that from this. I literally just told you about a woman who went to college, worked her ass off, got dual degrees, does as much as a man does, and still is passed over. So I know that's just one situation, but I'm sure there's plenty more just like that. And I bet she would feel highly offended if you tried to say a man was working harder than her when he did not even go to college. And she had to work 2 jobs to work her way through college and is paying off lots of student loans and debt.
51% of the United States is females. 51% of the world population is females. 51%. We just did the study, or we just researched this before we came on live. Women in Congress, 24%, and that is up higher. 24% of Congress is women. How can 51% of the population be represented fairly if they are only represented or only have a voice of 25%? Right?
And it's not even just men either that withhold us. Some women do that too, just to make that clear, because you will hear women saying women can't be presidents. Women can't do that. Women tell other women your place is at home.
Yes.
So I mean, that's
not just it just intertwines in everything. Because look right here. Of women prisons in the United States, there are 148,200 women in state and federal prisons. 70% of the guards in these women's facilities are men. And there are tons of reports of abuse that happen all the time coming from these places. How is that fair? I would think that if it's an all-women facility, it should be all women.
Coastal says, so what? Vaginas aren't a qualification for a political or executive position. You're absolutely right. He does say, he said that as well. So that came after. So I just wanted to make sure I said that. Okay. However, if a woman works hard, she goes to college, she earns a degree, she knows her job, she does it as well as a man, she should not be passed over simply because she has a vagina and not a penis. And that is the problem. And just because, and you're asking about being political, we're not talking about just politics here. Women are not being represented enough in Congress because women that run for Congress, it's harder to be elected. And what she's saying is that a man should not be making decisions regarding a woman's body. Women should be doing that. And I'm not talking about abortion here. That's not what I meant. But they do make decisions. A woman cannot even go get her tubes tied in some states here in the US without her husband's signature. But a man can go get a vasectomy, no problem, no questions asked, and he damn sure doesn't need his wife's signature. That is why women need representation. Because why do men get to decide what we can do or cannot do?
With our bodies.
You're absolutely right.
This is why we feel it is so important in order to bring about balance.
Balance, not one higher
than the other. To bring forth the goddess and female energy in order for her to have an equal voice with, or an equal energy with the male, right?
Right.
Yeah. How can they be on equal footing when everything is pretty much dominated worldwide? These are not my statistics. These are the actual statistics that you can find if you research it.
Shelby said those women were brought. I'm sorry. Shelby said these women were brought up different or born when that was relevant. I'm not going to listen, but you live your life the way you want, honey boo boo. Coastal said, women who value home, family, and marriage are told that they should put career first. And I would not tell a woman that she should put her career first either. Nobody should tell a woman whether she should work or stay at home. That's her choice. Just like nobody should tell a woman she can't breastfeed in public when our breasts were made to feed our children. There's just a lot. Hi, Matt. How are you?
I just see it like this. You know what? Isn't that what democracy is supposed to be built on? Is a voice. Everybody has an equal voice. So if you have 51% of the population being women, and it's 24% that make our laws, and roughly 34% of judges that are women that can uphold it. What is the percentage of women on the Supreme Court? I think it's two women on the Supreme Court.
I'm pretty sure there's only one woman on the Supreme Court.
Well, let's just find out.
I think there's only
one
black judge and one female. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it is. He said, Leah said, amen, women deserve equal rights. And Coastal said, have you been following Canadian politics? Trudeau created a cabinet based on race and gender equality, and there are plenty of people who are underqualified for their positions. There's plenty of men underqualified for their positions too. I understand.
Okay.
We're not bashing men at all because you can't lump everybody in together. What we are saying is that women are not being represented equally, and we believe a lot of that has to do with the lack of the goddess.
Coastal, I completely agree with what you just said. Let me show it. Absolutely right. And that's part of what is unfair. Absolutely.
That is unfair.
I'm for men equality as well. It's just got to be equality with both. You know, I'm for both.
Exactly.
Standing
for-
side by side, not one over other.
Yes, beside each other, working together to create the balance we need. That is exactly what I'm saying. And you're right, Coastal. I do understand that, because when my brother and my sister-in-law were first married and they had a child, my sister-in-law was like, no way am I staying at home. So when the kids were little tiny, my brother stayed at home and my sister-in-law worked. My brother cooked, he cleaned, he took care of the kids, and my sister-in-law worked, because that's what worked for them. And whoever had a problem with it, too bad for them, because that is exactly what was right for their family.
But oh yeah, and society wise, people would look at that man like he was the slacker and the no good, while the woman had to be out. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see it from that point of view as well.
Yes, men get that rap if they stay at home, or men get a bad rap if they're mannies, is what we call them, instead of nannies. Because I mean, just because some men prefer to be called a manny, not a nanny. But there are men who do those jobs and they do amazing jobs, just like there are men who are nurses and they are the best nurse I've ever freaking had. And you know, typically that's what we look at as a woman's position, but it's not a woman's position, it's a human position.
Yeah. Yeah, there's three women right now that are on the Supreme Court. There have been four, but one retired.
Is that the United States Supreme Court, or is that the like a
United States? No, it's Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan, or Kagan. Those are the three that are on right now.
Okay.
So
we're making what we want, and we're making what we want and what we deserve clear. Absolutely, Shelby. I believe entirely. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I believe entirely in equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. You know, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I do. I think that in order for it to be fair, in order for it to truly be fair, and this is my opinion, and it might be kind of radical, but I think that they should have only certain positions. Like, you know how each state in the United States has a male, or I mean, 2 senators, right, per state, right? So why would that be a problem, having one male and one female? Equal representation for the sexes, because men and women are friggin' different.
Yes.
We require different things in so many, psychological, physically. One huge glaring area of inequality that is unfair to men are in custody cases. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that also.
There are several states that are called mother states. Indiana happens to be one. And even if a man pays his child support, he might have to pay tens of thousands of dollars just to get visitation with his child. You're absolutely correct. Again, things are not balanced. They're not equal. It is unfair. There are plenty of areas where it's unfair for men. When we started out with this, it was not just, this was not supposed to be a debate about, you know, the inequality and that we're just saying it's unfair for women. We're not. We're saying that it's unfair for women, and that's because there's a lack of a goddess. I just wanted to be clear about that.
Right. We want equality for both.
Yes.
But we feel like in order for there to be, because all of the things that are ruling in our world are male dominated. And I'm not saying that every male is like that. Clearly they're not. But most things are male dominated.
Coastal, I can't tell because it's in text if you're just being contrary and contrite on purpose or what, but this is coming across kind of that way. you can't be a women's study major and think that makes you a qualified lawyer. I mean, that's obvious. And I mean, it just feels a little bit rude.
Well, shall I speak a bit about it in the spiritual aspect? Okay, guys, so I prepared some good notes here. All right, so I'm going to talk a bit about it more in the spiritual sense, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Starting off with a quote from an occultist called C.G. Jung, okay? And it states that the anima is every man's unconscious creation of the feminine. So the anima is the projection forming factor. She is not the invention of his conscious, but a spontaneous production of the male's unconscious. So the anima appears personified as dreams, visions, fantasies, all of the perfect feminine characteristics that a male could perceive. Her mysterious attributes, which make her so dangerously powerful, derive from the collective archetype, which is known as the anima. In every male child, this is born in them incarnate. Like I mentioned before, how we all kind of have a bit of both energy. So everyone has that masculine and feminine energy. We all have both. But the anima is what the man perceives as his perfect woman or an archetype. Balance inside our energy is necessary, and balance on the outside is necessary. The divine feminine energy is called Shakti in the Hindu pantheon we're talking about, but I'm not referring to these guys as actual gods with what I'm talking about. I'm referring to Shakti, which is the feminine energy as an energy essence herself, and Shiva as the masculine energy himself. So, being said, these are being looked at with traits, energies, and qualities, so not necessarily the gods. But the dance between their energies is within us all. The feminine is fertility, love, devotion, children, nurture, beauty, and marriage. She also represents strength and power. Interestingly, Kali, or Kali, how you guys would like to pronounce it, the goddess of time, creation, and destruction, violence, and power, is depicted in a picture and a story standing on a man who has completely submitted his heart to hers, letting go and accepting what is. He's accepting that he needs this energy to balance and complete them. So he is submitting and recognizing that for his own enlightenment, whereas his reward is her heart and the treasures that are bestowed within it. Honor and accept this teaching from this story of the feminine and the masculine, and we will all receive basically that treasure that it has to offer, right? From one balancing the other. We cannot have a man or a woman walking around with their Shakti or their Shiva energy in peril, or this can manifest in unbalanced ways in our desire or the anima for that missing unity. Now, it can manifest in many different ways. I'm not saying to be controversial, but just a little aspect to look within and think deeper about our desires for the other opposite energy. It could manifest in ways, strip clubs, other areas, one-night stands on both male and female parts, to just kind of give you an example of what it is to long for that missing energy, how it can manifest. So with that being said, I also wanted to make a point, interestingly enough, studies show that men and women both experience extreme emotional pain in breakups, but men are less likely to experience the emotional aspect of it as badly. However, their manifest for the desire for their feminine energy can manifest those not so good or negative desires without their counterpart. So what this kind of shows and teaches us, guys, is that without these unbalanced energies being harmonious, then we're not really going as far as becoming enlightened. Enlightenment, for true enlightenment, it is imperative to incorporate both the masculine and the feminine energy side by side as one, working together. And that is all I have.
That's actually a lot, though. I mean, that's some good points.
I think that's crucial because, you know, I have read stuff about goddesses, or I mean, societies that were ruled by women that were more matriarchal versus patriarchal, and they were completely out of balance as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible. So unless we come together and complement each other's different types of energies,
right,
or yes, embrace each one of ours, no matter what we want to do. And I believe that's what Coastal said. He just pretty much stands for doing whatever you want to do, regardless of what your gender is, right?
Right. And sometimes when you are passed over at work, it makes you get up and go and find a different or better job. I mean, that's true. Things work, and instead of sitting there complaining about it and whatever, you get up, you move, you go find a different job, you move forward with your life, and we've had to do that. All I'm saying is I think it would be less likely that we would need to do that if we would bring equality and balance into everybody's life. And again, I'll reiterate what I've already said 15 times. I believe that's because we're missing the balance that both the god and goddess bring when they're together.
Absolutely right. When, you know, look at what we're going through right now in the world with police brutality. And then it goes on further to the judges, right? And or their bosses, and then even higher up with the laws and stuff like that. You take women into consideration if they're fighting for equality or, you know, sexual harassment in the workplace or something like that, and there's a hierarchy. If the majority of that business is run by men, and then you try to take it to court and the majority of judges are men, and then you try to appeal it and take it higher and the majority of those judges are men, and then you've got our Congress that is mainly 75%, 76% men. I'm sorry, 64% men. No, 76%. Math, right? Are men. How is that woman going to get equal representation?
I'm a humanist. I'm not an MRA, which is a men's rights activist. But in this conversation, I was seeing a lot of incomplete figures, which did not consider the way different genders choose to do at work. I'm not sure if you are just trying to say women are less competent than men are. I mean, that's all I keep getting from this with you. So I need you to elaborate, because I go to work and I bust my damn ass and I work as hard as any man there.
No, correction. Many times women have to bust their ass even more so than their male counterparts, and even to be even held in the same kind of
regard,
esteem.
Yes.
And then on top of that, they have to rely on somebody else to go pick up their kids, because that's also expected of them too. But then they're going to get in trouble or not get that they've worked so hard for. So either they are money grubbing, you know what, career driven women, or they're women that stayed home with their kids. It's like there's no middle ground. It's either or, which I get it. It's the same way for men. And that's what we're trying to say, that it's our society. We're not saying it's all men. It's not all women. It's our society that is trying to conform us into something that we should not be. So we need to bring in more feminine to equal the shit out, more or less.
I like to work. I went to college. I have a freaking college degree. And then at the end of the day, I ended up staying home because we had 5 freaking kids and it was more cost effective for me to stay at home. And there's no way my husband could do that because he can't just stay at home. He has to work. He's hyperactive. He has a need to be doing something. So it would have never worked for him to stay at home. Plus, he doesn't like to clean. I love him, but I mean that's our personalities. Had it have been the other way and I could make as much money as him, because let's face it, he makes way more money than I ever did. And I have a college degree and he has a 9th grade education level. Just saying. And he makes 3 times the money I could ever make.
Or you probably never would have even been offered the type of job that he has because of being a woman.
Yeah,
Because
well,
it's not expected, right?
Well, there are some women that do jobs like his, but I personally am not one of them. I don't like manual labor. Not like that.
My husband's job, I could have done his job, but it was never offered to me because I'm a female and it's a male dominated job.
My sister catches so much for owning her own blacktop paving business because she's like the only female. And even her crew, like the men, are very demanding, very derogative. So it definitely is a thing.
And when we're saying embracing the goddess, we're also saying in men too, for it to be accepted that they might have a different career path that they want to do that might be considered more of what society, deems more feminine, like childcare or being a chef, or which, I mean, there are a lot of male chefs, but I'm sure that is, well, I don't know for sure, but I would think that that's more female dominated.
It is more female dominated, but male chefs make more money. Just saying, you do hear about a few or high-ranking chefs that are females. However, you don't see them all over TV like you do Ramsay or Emerald or whatever his name was. Anyway, they make $1 million a year being chefs.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, they both can cook real well, though. Just saying. I mean, they deserve it, but I'm not saying those men don't deserve the accolades, and I'm not saying they don't deserve the money, but you just don't see women being pushed up like the men are. And trust me, if you're a chef, and I don't care what your sex is, that is a hard job. It really is to work in a busy kitchen.
And we're definitely not saying also that it's all men that do these things to women. Women do these things to women. Just like men do these things to men.
Yep.
It's unequal.
And this isn't really an attack, it's more about awareness and bringing in, pulling that energy, make it relevant again.
The goddess energy definitely needs to be relevant to everybody, right alongside the male counterpart, the god. You need them both.
Yes.
Yep. Hi, Bee. Hi, Lavender. So, yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, what are ways that we can bring the goddess in more?
Acknowledge her to start. Acknowledge that there is a counterpart. Where there's a god, there's a goddess. Where there's a goddess, there's a god. Where
I watched this thing earlier, and it was of a lady talking about what does the Quran actually say about women and Muslim women and their hijab or hijab, whatever it's called. So I watched the whole thing. It was a Reddit or a TEDx talk. And she was saying that the talking about what a woman wore, and actually the Quran is so different than what people believe nowadays, because like 2 decades ago, some people that did some translations, well, you know what? I'm just going to refer you guys to
I've heard that before, that the
eye-opening.
Quran is being misconstrued, especially by extremists, and that extremists have taken over Muslim countries, and the women are being treated very poorly. So I completely agree with that, because people that are actually Muslim and they're not extremist Muslim are very peaceful, loving people,
Mhm.
and they're not like they're depicted.
I like that comment.
I
that.
know.
Coastals?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's very true,
I
and I
think
put it
you're
there, but then we
absolutely
started
right.
talking, so I waited till we were finished.
That is hard. Leah's saying. Oops. How do we create balance in society when fundamentalists of patriarchy religions are trying to force their mindset onto others?
Well,
Yeah.
that is the question, isn't it? So we just keep trying to raise awareness and keep talking about it, and stop being in the I don't, when I say stop being in the broom closet, I don't mean that if you are in the broom closet that you have to pop out and tell everybody. But if you're not, then we put it out there. Paganism right now is on the rise. It is scaring those who are in mainstream religions, because they can't keep just pushing everybody to believe the same way they do. So by continuing to talk about it and continuing to keep trying to teach people and keeping it open, and open discussion and an open dialogue, that is literally the only way we're going to do it. Does that mean that we should go door to door? No. But if you have people that you talk about your spirituality with, just opening that dialogue, and because even in my household, I more just worship a goddess and not a god, and that is something I need to work on myself. And I mean, I know he's there, and I have called on him, but it's way less frequently, and most of my conversations are goddess dominated. So I mean, even inside your own home, making sure that you're doing what you can to balance your own stuff.
Yes.
Well, I will say, definitely coming from Christianity, it wasn't even until I was older that I even thought about, I mean, it must have been like 20 years ago that I even realized, or even thought to even entertain the thought of God and goddess. Now, whenever I pray, it's always to Mother, Father, God. It's both. It's, both principles. But I never would have, because Christianity does not push that. Most of the major religions do not. That's the sad part.
Yeah. I'd like to hear what religion has to say about our research, discovering that there are lore, there is myths, and there is old tablets you can look back on. And when they talk about the creation, or God himself, even, that there are goddesses that were at once known to be at his side, it's a lot out there.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Spirituality and the Muslims as kids won't pick up the books. Yes, Allah is their prophet Muhammad. We cannot discriminate. That's what she was saying, that Muhammad is the one that had put in these, there was like 3 parts in the Quran that talk about what a woman should wear. And the reason it was even brought up was because, like, in, what was it, 600 AD or something like that, she said, women that were of a certain stature, or that were free women, would have a certain outfit that they wore, and men would not attack them, because they knew if they did that they would get in trouble. But there were slaves at that time also, and those women got attacked because there was no one there it didn't matter. They were just slaves. It didn't matter. So they brought this issue to Muhammad, and Muhammad said, okay, so let all women wear the same thing. He didn't say that they had to be covered from head to toe. That was put in later on. But it also said, she said, but anyways, I'm not going to go into all the detail. I do suggest watching that TED Talk. It was really, really cool. Really cool.
Leah says, I escaped a fundamental. Oh, you moved it off.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Christian cult, and I would not wish that place on my worst enemy. They wanted me to be barefoot and pregnant my whole life. They didn't even believe in birth control. I mean, a lot of religions don't believe in birth control. They believe it's a sin and that you will burn in hell if you use birth control.
Family planning. Yep.
Coastal said, yet if you look at the Catholic Church, the most inspirational women saw the balance between Jesus and Mary. I mean, there is a little bit of conspiracy about how paganism slid right on in there and mixed their beliefs with Christianity to make Catholicism, because they have the most rituals of any other religion I know besides witchcraft. And they weren't able to get rid of the goddess, hence the reason for Mary. I mean, I don't know if that's true. That's just.
If you go on and read other books, gospel books, though, they really talk about how Jesus loved Mary the most out of all the disciples. But then if you go to other, talks about the reason, there was a reason, I put one up there earlier, that women are not supposed to be anything higher than nuns in Catholicism, because Jesus Christ, all of his disciples were men, and for good reason. But there's other books that will say she was actually his most beloved disciple and told most of his secrets to. But that's not the books that got put into the Bible canon, because the Bible canon was inspired by or controlled by men in power. Anyway.
Sorry. Leah said, yes, they hate birth control. They think that a vagina is a clown car. I'm sorry. That was funny. Oh.
Yeah.
Wicca draws on medieval occultism, which drew from Catholic practices. I mean, I don't know about that, but I mean, I honestly just don't know. But I mean, have you guys heard that? I mean, I don't know either.
It's debated. I've heard that, but I've also heard quite a few other things. Hell, that could be a movie or a video in itself.
I mean, lots of things could be videos.
But also,
I'm actually reading a book right now called Drawing Down the Moon by Margot Adler, I think. And she's talking about, this was written like in the 70s. And she is talking about how a lot of those early, religions are supposed to be based on older stuff. But a lot of that is just like passed down information. So oral information. So a lot of that stuff is just like they took this, and took this, and then decided to try to put a religion together.
He said the Bible was assembled by committee. Magdalene is regarded as a secret bride of Christ, and his mother is basically a goddess. I mean, there's a lot of different. Beth, welcome to our channel and this talk about the goddess. Right now, we were talking about the lack of the goddess in society today and how that affects us, and it does obviously bring up lots of other issues. So, hi, Jessie from Paranormal Adventures.
She's a blessed mother, though, not really a goddess. She still doesn't stand in God's level.
They were not equals. No.
Right.
Krafty Kat said,
no,
Mary
Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
Nope, Mary Magdalene is there, but they see religion separated many things as a ray of light, like the sun has rays of light like the moon.
But there's that balance again, another perfect example of masculine and feminine. They each bring their time of day, bring one in cycle to the next.
Mm-hmm.
you can see wonderful examples of the energies working together in nature, just in natural, common things that happen every day. And I think it's important for us to be on that same page.
Catholics won't admit that, obviously, but the folk religion and holy orders are all focused on Mary, Mother of God. I mean, in Catholicism, they definitely focus a lot on Virgin Mary. And that's what I was saying. There was a lot of speculation about how that was just being slipped in there as a goddess figure. And perhaps Catholics are a little more
Alien
balanced
DNA
out.
splicing, just saying. Yeah.
I need all the laughs
She went into
today,
a
so
deep
thank you.
sleep, and the alien came down during an abduction and, you know, fertilized her egg. Jesus Christ was a hybrid. Different topic, but.
Oh, okay. I was looking because Leo was saying, I'm glad you escaped. Because earlier when we were talking, Lavender Rivers said, true, my high school boyfriend went on to have 15 kids. Whoa. I had 5. That was enough.
My husband's boss, he's passed now, old boss. They were Catholic, and his wife was not, they were not allowed to do any kind of birth control, and it was called family planning, and I think they had 7 children. 7, maybe 8. I'm not sure. A lot of children. You know. Which anymore, honestly, our earth is already so populated. Do we have to have that many children?
I mean, I had a lot of children, and it was purely because birth control failed. And I'm not joking. And I wouldn't trade any of my kids. I love them all, but I got pregnant on 4 different types of birth control. So, I mean, I guess I was meant to have that many.
And I understand that. But when they don't want you to try to, they want you to just keep on spitting them out, so to speak. You know, that's a woman's place, so to speak, is to just keep on, when our earth is already well overpopulated as it is. I just don't think that's super responsible anymore. But anywho.
I mean, I just always think that everybody should make their own decisions, and it should be based on what they can take care of, not just financially, although that's a huge issue, but they should also base it on if they are mentally prepared to do that and, you know, are capable of taking care of that many children, because children are work. They're a ton of work. They're the hardest job I've ever done in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Lavender River said, is anyone working with a specific goddess? I felt a strong pull to Gia, Demeter, and Artemis lately. My daughter keeps having dreams about Bast too. So I can tell you I work with Bast, and she made her presence known. She's bossy, and she definitely will let you know. Morgan and Isis are the 3 I work with.
I would say for me, definitely Gaia, Danu, Isis, Aphrodite, that for me.
Hecate, Lilith, and Ishtar for now.
I definitely work with Mother Earth as well. And a moon goddess. I don't not picked any specific one as a moon goddess. I just call it the moon goddess and the sun god. I do work with them, but the 3 I named are the ones that are deities that have made their self completely known to me and that I work with on a regular basis.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh,
the fundamentalists that are having double-digit kids are part of something called the Quiverful movement. They believe that each kid is an arrow to aim at the devil. Huh.
Wow.
Interesting. Does any believe that demigods are still born today and maybe they don't realize who they are? Maybe they have demigod. Absolutely. I
Maybe
believe we're all
Jason
damn
Momoa.
hybrids.
Jason Momoa is pretty freaking hot and built like a brick shit house, so maybe he's a demigod.
I think we're all demigods, to be honest with you. But when I think of demigod, I think of hybrids, aliens, starseeds, you name it. The Western world isn't overpopulated, though the countries that they can't support their population have more kids per family than any country in Europe or North America. I think that's a matter of perception.
Well, they said you could literally take every person in the world and it would just feel like Rhode Island or something.
Yeah, because the way I see that, there's a lot of land uninhabited too, without civilizations or cities.
But when I say overpopulated, I'm not saying amount of people. I'm saying about what their footprint is and what they're doing to the earth. Or what they're consuming as far as food wise, pollution, disease. Look at the rate of our forests and our carbon footprint that's causing the ozone layer to deplete. All that. That's what I'm talking about.
We can all make small changes to help with that type of thing, because that's definitely that's a whole video on its own. But I mean, I would definitely do a video with you like that. We all need to make changes and stop being a society of convenience to help with that. How do you know when a goddess is reaching out to you? Well, most of them will just let you know, and you will absolutely know, at least in my experience. They're pretty in your face about it. Isis was a little more subtle. Morgan was definitely right in the face. And Bass too. They both were like, whoa. Yeah.
Hecate too, yeah.
For me, I think it's because I don't think any of them have like reached out and said, hey, Rachele, trying to, get a hold of me or anything like that I know of or that I'm realizing. But I have seen a lot of synchronicities and things that'll come up. Like I'll see a goddess on this and then turn around and I'll get like a goddess that shows up and it's the same one or same type of energy or something like that.
So I just want to say a little bit about trying to work with the goddesses and really getting them to talk to you. Meditation is the easiest form, I believe, to really listen and contact them. And sometimes they will even present themselves right in front of your face. However, if you're just starting out and you really have not contacted a goddess, just talk to them. Talk to them. Don't beg them. Don't plead with them. Don't just ask them for shit. Talk to them like they're your friend. Have a conversation with them. Talk about what's going on and where you're headed. They have their own personalities, and they don't just want people to plead with them for the things they want. They're here to walk beside you and maybe lend a hand when you need it. So that's the best advice I can give you. Sit outside on your back steps or your front steps, wherever's most comfortable for you, and just have a little conversation. That's how you get started.
Yeah, a lot of people, I feel like, get hung up on, if they don't call me, then I can't work with them. I can't have them in my life. That is not true. Not true at all. What I did was when Hecate piqued my interest, I wrote her a petition of like, hey, basically an invitation of, you want to come hang out with me? You want to work with me? Let me know something. What's up? And I had ended up getting 3 signs in a day that correspond with her that were pretty strong. So I took that as, okay, well, she answered me. Cool. So let's go do a ritual soon. So, yeah, you can most definitely work with them without a calling. You don't need a calling.
Yeah.
I just feel like a lot of people feel like they need that, to approach a deity, and you don't.
I feel like too, they want so badly to have the experience everybody else has had with the goddess. making mundane magical. Hi. And this was something she just said. How do you know what's a sign and what is not? Well, it's really hard to tell somebody else what a sign is when the sign is meant for you personally and not for me. But I can tell you right now, the gods are always around. They hear everything you're doing, they know what you're saying. They don't always just interfere, though. I do think, though, if you had a really big need or if you have a need to see them, they will make it known to you. And I definitely think if you are wanting to work with a goddess, you need to do as much research as possible so you know all of her things and not from just one or two sources. You need to look at 20 sources, make notes, know who they are. The goddesses or the gods are not there for you just in your times of need. They want to have a relationship with you. And I mean, I feel strongly about that. So I feel like if you feel like you're lacking something with the gods and the goddesses, then do a little more work. They're busy people. They have lots of things going on.
I don't know as if I necessarily look at it like that personally myself. I look at it as an energy. I look at it as something that you can tap into at any time that you want to use that face of whatever. That's why I say, or that's why I agree with you when you say that you don't need to have a calling. You know, if you've done research, like that's why I brought this up. Leah says that her matron goddess is Inanna. Inanna is somebody that has been coming up for me. And in the research, because she's Anunnaki, which is the oldest known culture or written civilization that we know about, or civilization that had writing, right? Or records that we have. And she is a powerful goddess that also another name for her could have been Ishtar or Aphrodite, which Inanna is the oldest one in our written history that we know about. She is like that female principal, Inanna. She's the one, but that's Anunnaki, which were aliens that come from Nibiru.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say after 20 years, like where my path has led me, it's funny because I'm looking at you two right now, and I've always believed, as Jessica's just described, but then as you know, Rachele, as of late, I'm starting to lean more toward this way. Just saying, from my own experiences and research. But I think that's to each its own, you know.
But if the gods aren't of Earth, they're not from Earth. That's where we live. The gods are from somewhere else. So, I mean, you could say they're aliens because they're not from here. And even if they are aliens, I still think they're people. They're just a higher kind of people, and they still have personalities.
Definitely. I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that either, but I also think that stories create like legends. The more people that put belief into it, it makes it an actual thing. But I believe that God in general, my belief, this is my belief, is that God or the Godhead is actually everything that is alive or spirit, that energy, all of us. So when I think of somebody like Inanna being a god, well, I believe I'm also a god. I believe that we are all gods, all of us. Yep. Some might be on higher frequencies, maybe a little bit more evolved, but I believe that we're all from the same source. We all create the whole. But that's my belief.
I mean, isn't LaVeyan Satanism, they kind of believe that there is not a god per se, that they're all gods and that they need to ascend. That's a form of, that's LaVeyan Satanism.
Yeah. And some do believe like in a Luciferian aspect. It depends on who you talk to, you know, because now there's so many different. But a lot of people that I've come across, Luciferian or Satanist, do in a sense believe in a source though. But they also believe we are of that source and we are our own God. We are our own master. So yeah.
I think during our human lives, we're not gods, but we could become ascended, maybe not to a god level, but at least to a level of what you would think an angel is. But you have to live these lives to become that. You have to learn these lessons, because every life we live, we're learning little lessons, and that's what you got to learn to ascend.
I believe that as well, but I believe we still carry our source energy in us, making us of the divine. So we're divine beings.
Right. See, I see the Godhead as this energy source or mass consciousness that created us. And we are sparks. If you can think like stardust or sparks, that's what our souls are. But I believe also just outside of myself, much larger than myself, is my higher self. And I am just one incarnation in this life. But I also believe that I might have several other lives going on at the same time that is maybe of a different frequency. But my higher self is my true divine being.
Are
It's
you talking
always
about
with me.
Are you talking about like you believe that this life you're living right now, several other dimensions of you're living on those other planes of existence?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's common. Lots of people do believe that. I just feel like that there's just one of me. I don't think the world in itself could handle more than one of me. So
I think that kind of explains to me, though, like astral traveling, some of the dreams that I have had that almost seem like and it's not like going back in history with, the clothes that they wore and stuff. It's like modern day, but like another life that I am in simultaneously. And just like, you and I, Courtney, go into each other's dreams, right? Walking into each other's like astral traveling, but being like different in those.
Yeah.
So
dream walking
simultaneously.
It happened a couple times, and I'm like, do you remember your dream? Because I think we did it again. There was that one I had of all three of us too.
I don't remember my dreams. I block my dreams as much as I can. Very seldom do I have a dream.
I love dream work. I try to remember them every morning.
Nope, I don't want to.
I definitely want to remember mine. I feel like that's where a lot of my downloads and claircognizant, that's where you get information downloaded to you like through your dreams, or it's just like a clear knowing. That's what I think is my strongest psychic ability, is because I'm given that information through my dreams.
Most definitely.
So Lavender Rivers says, I love Solarin Raw's meditation, where she says, you are not separate from God. You are an outpouring of the love of God. Change that to goddess, and that's how I feel. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you record your dreams in a journal. I do too.
Lots of people do. I don't like mine. Mine are a lot of times prophetic, and I don't want. No, thank you. So I pass.
Mine too, very much. But I still, to each their own. I've seen many people that don't like their dreams, or their dreams are just too scary, or what have you, or they try to block them. Definitely not me.
I have adventures in my dreams. Sometimes I don't want to wake up because I'm like, I'm off.
I'll say that the fragmented part feeling your few ley lines at one time. I'll say that's the fragmented part feeling your. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I will sleep with stones or have pen for them dreams. Yeah. That's something that I was going to say. I've got my big amethyst, because since all this started, my level of dreaming has been very low, or at least my amount of remembering my dreams. So I'm getting ready to take my big chunk of amethyst, because amethyst is really good for dream work. and putting it right next to my bed again so that I can hopefully it can unlock stuff. I've heard of people actually sleeping on beds of like amethyst in order to help reawaken that stuff again. Not actually like, lower, it's still cushioned, but they're sleeping over the top of amethyst, like small amounts of amethyst. Or even like meditation mats that are made with amethyst on the bottom. So definitely. My father passed away 12 years ago, and I had a dream where he came to me and left me 2 small black puppies and blue eyes and a basket. I have had dreams of my loved one and for me to relay messages, and I know that was actual communication. I know it was.
She said Chevron Amethyst helps for dreams if stone collection is happening for altars. Coastal says the dreams of the future are usually mundane moments without context until I see them in real life. Okay, so I will just elaborate. Okay, so I did used to like getting the prophetic dreams and knowing that the stuff's going to happen until I seen the death of my daughter's dad and the death of my son, which both came to pass. And forget it, I don't want any part of it.
Yeah.
Both of them died, and that's terrible to know that was going to happen. It did happen, and I have to deal with the results of that.
I understand. That's how my mom was. She would get those dreams, and she blocked it, so she wouldn't get them anymore also.
Yep. No, thank you.
Yeah. I dreamed that Canada was another planet last night, and nobody was impressed by the discovery but me.
I mean,
yeah.
I had a dream last night that I was trapped back in the U.S. and I was looking for Chris and my kids in a crowd and couldn't find any of them and started to panic. And that's all I remember.
I've had a lot of dreams like that. I think a lot of that kind of stuff is working through just your regular fears and stuff like that. Yeah.
You can tell the difference.
Solar eclipse was birth of Leo through, yes, Mary, who's Virgin constellation 2017. Or Virgo. Virgin. Virgin. But. Do you all agree with me that being LGBT plus is a gift from the gods to prevent overpopulation? I used to hate that part of me when I was a Christian, but now I see it as a gift. Honestly, I do, but I also see it as people that are a little bit more in touch with their Merkaba, the male and female energies coming together, more advanced, more evolved. Yes.
I mean, out of all the animal species, there's several that have homosexual tendencies, lots of them. I think it's very natural. I don't necessarily know if it's a gift from the gods. I think it's just something that naturally occurs in some people, just like red hair or blue eyes or a larger behind or whatever. Those types of things are naturally occurring in people, and I believe the same thing with anybody who is gay or homosexual.
I definitely do. I do see special significance to that.
So do I. I think it's a lot more evolved. People ahead of their time.
It's been going on since the beginning of time. I'm just saying, and it happens in the animal kingdom as well, which we're a part of. And that's where I base my decision off of for that.
But you know what? I think it was more openly accepted in many cultures than what it is now.
Right.
I mean, it's becoming more.
It was openly.
For some people, it still isn't, but
it's openly accepted in lots of cultures before Christianity and Catholicism and the Abrahamic faiths, because their faith says it's a sin against God. A man shall not lay with a man as he does a woman. It says that right in their Bible. That is why it's less accepted now than it was then. But even before that happened, it was happening is what I'm saying. So I feel like it's just, it's a natural thing. It's a natural process, the same as red hair, just saying.
Yeah, I do. I also think it's a natural process.
Yeah.
But I think that because of, I mean, it is a natural thing that has been suppressed. That's the whole thing. It's been suppressed. And these people are not, I mean, they're still letting their spirit evolve, even through all that oppression. So I see that as something special.
I mean, it's probably more oppressed for men than women. I think it's much more accepted for women than men.
Yeah, probably. The puppies had blue eyes, but at the time I didn't know that black dogs were associated with Hecate.
Yeah.
Dogs are sacred to her, yes.
Mhm.
One of my signs during the calling was literally a whole block in the neighborhood I was walking with. Every dog was sounding off. But yep.
She says, oh, let's see. I've had dreams of people who have passed right afterwards. They've passed in places I didn't understand. 2013. Yeah. Most of the time when somebody passes, it's at least a few months before they've come to me. Why? He's trying to get my attention. I think he's got to go bathroom, so give me a second, guys.
That was cute.
Puppies are just like children. I want to make a satch with lapis so I can see the truth about a certain situation in my dreams. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, get a hold of me about that, Lady Blind Wolf, and I could help you out with that. I mean, make your sachet too. That's awesome. That's awesome idea. But I can help you interpret and stuff.
The night before my grandfather passed, he appeared to me in a dream and also appeared to my son.
I definitely believe that happens too.
Oh, yeah.
Stories of that. Whoops.
I had 3 tumors 10 years ago. I had my mom visit me. I literally felt her side beside me and on my bed and told me to remove everything. When I went to the doctor, he told me I had to have a hysterectomy.
Hmm.
Come on. Are you coming in?
I had one of those.
Get in here.
Lady Blind Wolf says, in Native American culture, it is believed that someone who is homosexual should be respected because they have 2 spirits in one body.
Yep.
Coastal says, I mean, for me, I consider it more significant that I'm right brain dominant, creative, and so forth. Being bisexual is just icing on the cake.
I think you're just very evolved. I do. Yes, it was definitely more accepted in Roman times.
Yeah.
For Romans.
They were wild.
Yep.
Don't say the F word.
I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, don't.
I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Bisexuality in the ancient world is a good read on that whole thing. That's a book. She made a subreddit. If you send me the link, I can post it.
I love my doggies.
That was because your dog was cute in the video.
He's like, Mom. That's what he does. Hello, I'm trying to talk to you, Mom.
Postal, I have to agree with you on that. I love dogs. I love all animals, but I'm a big cat person.
Oh, I love them both.
I want a dog too, though. I really do.
He's like my best friend. He really
Dogs
is.
are more high maintenance. They need more attention. Cats are easier to take care of.
Yeah. Oh, but oh my gosh, he gives love and he's loyal and protects. I mean, he just has my heart. And I have 2 cats and I love them very much. But that one, he stole my heart right there. He took it. As portals do exist and happens frequently with myself. That's another thing. Have you guys ever been around somebody that was about to pass and, you know, like maybe a day before or the day of, or like not soon before, and they're always, you can tell that they can see something that they're not like telling you, or they will say, you know, I'm seeing such and such and such and such. My grandma did that and my uncle did that.
Many patients that I worked with that were terminal would mention that. Even my own grandmother, but she's still alive. She made it, but she was close to it at that time.
Actually, it has been rumored that King Richard was one they called Lionheart was gay. I believe it. There was another French, I think it was the husband of Mary Queen of Scots. No. There was another one. I don't remember. That, like, stories of it. And dressing up in women's clothing and all that.
I think that was her husband.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Are we freezing up? Actually, if you care for cats or feed stray cats, from what I was told, you're actually doing service to Sekhmet and bass. So we've been providing care and serving Sekhmet and bass for years and didn't know it.
Maybe I should look into that too. Like, as much as I just have this bond and fascination with them, always pulled to a cat.
I wonder if that has something to do with
My God.
Arcturian aliens.
I think
Aren't
my
they
God,
the ones
that about
the one I had channeled.
Oh, uh-oh. There we go. Is that a little better? There we go.
I think I was frozen on my end, so I swapped out to my phone.
Yeah. You might want to leave with your phone, sweetie, because it looks like it's still connected to the stream, or the other one. It's still connected down below.
It shouldn't be, because I shut my whole laptop. It's shut.
Oh, it's still showing down there.
Did it go off? It's not on my screen.
Yeah, I removed it. But it's still down below. There we go. Now it went off. Okay.
Okay. Sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't know why my laptop just all of a sudden did that.
That's technology for you.
I know the last
My mother
two
was
lives.
in a coma.
Sorry, go
had
ahead.
to turn off life support, but the days that we had to let her go, her face was so peaceful. Yeah. You know what is really weird? That I'm telling you something that was really strange. When my father's, or my husband's father had been sick, he had had a major heart attack. This was like 20 years ago, and 15, 20 years ago, around that. And because his heart was so bad, they had given him medication, and it took a long time for the medication to like wear off. So he was in like a coma, but like, because it was still working, all the medication was working out of his body. When he came out, and he was in a coma for like 3 months, when he came out, he was like a different person. I mean, he would look at you, and you know how you know somebody by their eyes when you look at them, especially if you've talked to him so many times over the years, right? You have a relationship with this person. his eyes were like vacant. He would look at you like following you around like he didn't know for the longest time. I mean, it was like a couple of weeks. He was like that. It was weird. Oh, wow. She was bawling.
No, you're having technical difficulties.
Oh, am I? You can't see me?
Unless it's still my stream. No, I can see you. It just was breaking up. So I don't know if it was my stream or what.
I don't know if his body was hijacked by somebody else, but that was friggin' weird. I mean, his eyes were like all like really, really bright blue. It was just weird. So she was bawling her eyes out the day before, but she had no brain activity. The doctors had no explanation for that. We still wonder what that was about. Wow, that is really strange. Wow. The Emperor's New Clothes would be book, as Cusco is Emperor's New Groove, but love the Egyptian kitty cats. Oh gosh, the Egyptian kitty cats are so gorgeous. Yeah. Cats like to have human servants. So true.
That is
Royals
true about cats. Cats do think we're the servants.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like Smokey, he's mean. Smokey, he'll just, I mean, he's woke up a couple of times and just come at me because he woke up having a bad dream or something. And Sully was there to protect Mama. He came at him, let me tell you. That's loyalty. And Sully was getting the worst of it because, you know, both of our cats still have their claws. So in case they ever got out, they could defend themselves. Right? But so Sully, he's like my prince, my baby. Common hobby among them. Yeah, probably. What is that? Personally, I think that Aiden and Kira are both my familiars. Aiden is all over the place on my altar and always beside me. But when it comes to trying to do tarot spreads, here comes Kira causing havoc. I love it. You know what?
Yeah.
Smokey has gotten up on my altar a couple of times when the candles were going, and all of a sudden, and I think one of the times I was actually doing a video
on fire.
All of a sudden I hear and him taking off. I'm like, oh my god, I got it. I had to go like get him, make sure he wasn't still on fire. Little shit. Took him a couple of times of doing that before he learned. Don't jump up on the, you know. Jeez.
Yeah.
She was not here nor there. Just
does it make you want to
move on, I guess? No. Yeah, she was in between, not here nor there. Dogs have owners, cats have staff. Exactly. If in a medical induced state, I've been in them. Still, I look for 3 weeks of this so-called life. Yup, my kitty cats need up in the altar. Yeah. I started using LED candles to keep my cats from catching fire. That's why I say crystals, guys. Crystal gridding. Because even though your candle, I do believe that your candle, if you blow it out the right way, well, your beliefs are if you like blow it out right. I say, although I extinguish this candle with the blow, magical energy continues to go. So I can blow it out and it still keeps going.
I've blown candles out and never had to say anything. They still work. I think that sometimes people just think that you shouldn't do something, and that's okay if they don't want to do it as long as they're not trying to shove it down my throat.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But the LED candles is really smart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a cat person than a dog person. Is there any spiritual significance to preferring one over the other? I mean, I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
Just a preference. I mean, I love them all. Don't get me wrong. I love my cats too. But, you know, when it comes time at night, Sully will get up on the bed and we'll say, and I know cats will do this too. Just our cats are finicky and they won't. But so Sully will get up on the bed. We'll say, okay, give us the belly. Uh-oh, she dropped the camera. And so he'll like expose his belly so that we can rub his belly really good.
I do not know what's going on over here. Like, I don't know why that it's sitting on my tripod. My tripod just shot it out like, hey, I don't know. I have no idea. Or why my laptop froze up or any of it.
Did you just do that?
Did I do?
Probably just.
I might have done that while I was trying to stick my phone back into the. You know what? I've got it. I've got it with this thing. So I'll just hold it, I guess.
We should probably be wrapping this up anyways.
Yeah,
ladies. It's been
I'm
an
so
hour and a half.
sorry to interrupt because this was actually a good discussion going on, but I just can't. I don't know what's happening.
Aliens.
I mean, possibly.
Let's just blame aliens for everything.
New merch coming soon. A t-shirt will say the aliens did it.
Or the aliens
I mean,
made
I
it,
can
right?
totally make you that t-shirt.
Really? Let's put it in the merch store. Let's do it.
Okay.
What were you telling me this? That you're reading that there's more activity, alien activity? Courtney?
Yes. Loads actually. They just actually found alien bones on Mars and confirmed that it is undeniable proof. And then also within the last 3 weeks, there have been way over 20 plus sightings of UFO activity all over. And a lot of them are very good resourced as well. So
Didn't I share a video with you guys not too long ago with some crazy stuff in the sky? Like, and it was live shot, so they couldn't have been editing it. I could have swore I put that in there.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll see if I can find it because I shared it with some people and I was like, look at the shit in the sky. This is insane. What is this? And then somebody was trying to say it was some kind of NASA thing, but I don't know how it could have been NASA. It was really weird. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, yeah, I definitely want to see it.
Shelby said she loved it.
Yeah.
I could have told you that. Krafty Kat said, thanks, ladies. It's raining in Canada, Toronto area. That could be the problem. Or heck, them goddesses are speaking. I mean, maybe they are. They're telling me to get off because I got some other stuff I should be doing. I don't know. Did I freeze? Or is she frozen? Courtney,
no.
is my screen frozen or hers?
I think it's hers, honey.
See, I'm not the only one experiencing trouble tonight. I don't know what's going on.
See, I said it. The aliens. I mean it. They're like, hey, we're here. Ease it on us before they make their big standing ovation. And then I bet they're just going to be like, we're fashionably late, introing ourselves. But on our defense, you guys are freaking crazy.
I mean, we are this planet is kind of crazy. We're all just a little crazy, right? All right. I think that she's completely frozen. So I will go ahead and end the live. I thoroughly enjoyed the discussion, everybody's point of view, everybody's thoughts on the situation. The universe is saying, get back to your workings. It probably is saying that. I really appreciate you and Rachele both joining me on this discussion. And I guess we'll end it with that and we'll talk soon, witches.
Yep.
Bye, guys.